Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and in this mini Unity tutorial I'm going to show you how you can create a fade screen for your game. So to do a fade screen, we're going to use a raw image. So if you go to Game Object, UI, and go to Raw Image, next what you want to do is stretch it to the entire screen, which is down here in your anchor point section, and then set all the values to 0. This so it stretches across the entire canvas, as we can see. Now I'm going to set it to black, so we fade out. Okay, so you can either fade in or out depending on what you want to do at this point. So if we want to start with a black screen and fade out, then your canvas needs to be set alpha 255. If you're doing it the other way, you have your actual scene and you want to fade to black, set your alpha to either 0 or 1. So to do this, we need to set an animation. So go to animation here, and if you don't have that there, just click the little option over here, click Add tab, and then click on Animation, and this window will appear. So we need to click Create, and let's call this Fade Anim. So we're doing 60 frames a second as instructed here, samples 60. So frame 0, which is going to be the first frame, because we need this to be the initial state of what our UI image is going to be. So I'm just going to retype over here to 255. Just so as it sets this keyframe here perfect for us. And I want to fade this screen over, let's say, 2 seconds. So our samples is 60 times 2, so that's 120. So we're at the 120th frame, which is 2 seconds. And at this point, we're going to set this to 0. And then click on the record button. So at the moment, this animation is going to constantly play. Now, one thing we can do is if we click on Fade Anim here and click on Loop Time and press play, the fade works just once. If perhaps you wanted to initiate this at a certain point, for example, when you enter a trigger in your game or when you click a button, then you would have to do something different, but we'll get into that in just a moment. So if all you want to do is just create a fade screen to fade into your game, this is as far as you would need to go. Just setting that fade anim, the loop time untick, so it only plays the once. As I say, if you want to create this on a method, if you want to do something and it happens, then we'll do that now. Firstly, get rid of your animator. So right click, remove component, then click add component, and let's type in anim and click on animation. Next, what you need to do is drag and drop that fade anim over here onto non-animation clip. And here on size, type 1, hit enter, untick play automatically, and then drag and drop fade anim over here into the first option available. Now what you'll need to do is set it as legacy. So if you click on the animation again, click on the menu button at the top of your inspector panel, click on debug, and then click on legacy right there. And then just set yourself back to normal. And if we press play, nothing should happen. We need to initiate that via a script now. So right click, create, C# script, and let's just call this fade screen set. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to make it fade when I press a button. So to do this, I'm going to create my own void, I'll call it something as we go along. So let's start with public game object, and let's call it fade screen semicolon. I'm going to do public void and call it fading out, open close bracket, open curly bracket. And what I need to do is fade screen dot get component, open spiky bracket, animation, close spiky bracket, open close bracket, dot play, and in brackets and quotes we put that fade anim, which is the name of our animation, semicolon, close curly bracket, and at the very top we're going to put using Unity engine dot UI semicolon, because we're using the UI elements here, and save. So if you were doing this in perhaps a trigger section, instead of using public void fading out, you would use on trigger enter something or other, or even if it was in the start function, like you've got to wait so many seconds, and then you could have it that way. So I'm going to create a quick button. So UI button, and let's drag our script onto the button itself. And let's set the fade screen, which is this raw image, as the variable. And then let's make the button actually work by clicking the plus, dragging its own object onto here, clicking no function, fade screen set, and then clicking fading out. So when we click this button, the fade screen should take effect. There we go. So obviously the same would apply if you're doing it in reverse, if you're fading out. But if we do it again, you'll be able to see that that fade screen constantly plays every time we press this button. So guys, that's how you can create a fade screen for any game in Unity, and thank you very much for watching.